or felt like you wanted to say, social media is hard. I don't know what to post. It feels kind of icky. Posting takes up too much time. Then this broadcast is for you. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about what is it that causes resistance in using social media in our marketing plans. And I do want to preface this by saying there's no rule that you have to use social media. Absolutely not. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in today's broadcast. What I wanted to do is and really address the fact if you've ever felt confused or like icky or salesy or weird when it comes to using this as a tool for your marketing, I'd like to look at some things that we might be able to release in order to make peace with using this tool as part of our marketing plan. Because there's a lot of pressure out there. I get it. There's a lot of pressure to keep up with trends and to create tons and tons of content. And let's be frank, that's exhausting. It can be very overwhelming. I have felt overwhelmed by it. And so I wanted to address this topic today. We're going to be discussing 3 ways that we can release that pressure and, this like I have to do kind of feeling. And we're going to reframe the role that social media can play in marketing your music studio business. So I hope that you're going to enjoy today's topic. Before we get started, I want to say if you're joining live or on the replay, say hello. I love to have conversations with my teacher friends. And we're going to be back in just a second. Let's play a little bit of intro music while we wait for others to join us. Go. All right. I was doing some behind the scenes stuff and singing to the people over on Instagram since they can't see the cool video that's being played there. All right. Welcome everyone to the broadcast. I'm really passionate about this topic today. And I really hope that this can shed some light on maybe why you have felt that social media feels hard, or maybe even feels like icky and not authentic to use for your business. I've had a lot of discussions with teachers over the years around the barriers that they might feel when it comes to creating content. And I've noticed a lot of trends in what people tell me around why they feel uncomfortable with social media. So what we're going to do today is we're going to unpack some of those things that I've noticed, and I'm going to give you 3 tips around releasing expectations and kind of like, getting rid of what some of the, and I don't like to use the word, so I'm not going to, some of the experts out there say about how you're supposed to use social media. And I hope that this is going to be a really helpful discussion for you. If you are new here, I just want to take a moment to say hello. My name is Sara Campbell, and I am a business strategist, mindset, and marketing coach for music studio owners just like you. And we go live here every Wednesday where we talk about those topics. And I'm really excited and passionate about this one. And I can't believe this, but this is actually our last broadcast of 2022. And I know that just dated this video for those who are watching on the replay later on. I do feel passionate enough about this topic that even in 2023, I will stand by what I'm saying. So I'm really excited to talk about this with you. I see there's a lot of people who feel seen. I see Sally says hello. Deborah says hello. Hey there, Julie. I'm so glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. Pete's waving. Anna's tuning in from sunny Florida, and we have Grace tuning in as well. And Pete is saying views and likes, laughing face. Yep, we're going to be talking about all those things today. All right, so really quick, I have a couple things to tell you all. If you're new and you don't know how these broadcasts, kind of go, we love to learn out loud here together. So if you hear something today that is valuable to you, give us a hashtag takeaway and put that in the comments. If you're attending live, I'll be able to bring that up on the screen. And if you're doing this later on and you give us your takeaways, I'll be really happy to come back and have a discussion with you. Takeaways or questions, hit me with them. I do have the Savvy Sara bot all set up and ready to go here. So for those who are watching on Facebook or on Instagram, that's the wrong slide. You can drop the word social down below and the Savvy Sara bot will set you up with the show notes from today. She's also going to be sending you an invitation to join the social media course here that we run here at Savvy Music Studio. It shows you the ins and outs of all of the things. And I think it approaches social media, I hope, in a different way than a lot of other courses do. My goal here with this course is to really make it easy for you to engage with social media and give you different ways to market your services that won't feel salesy or weird. Okay, so, and just to let you know, there is a sale going on the social media course. We've never had a sale on the course before, but I wanted to do a little something special at the end of the year here. So that sale will be going on through December 17th. Okay, so let's get through it here. So the topic of the day, we really don't want social media to feel hard, right? Raise your hand or give me an emoji or something if you've ever felt kind of stuck in what you have to post, like the idea of have to post, comes up into your brain. Or if you've struggled with feeling maybe vulnerable or strange about using social media in your studio, I can 100% guarantee that there are other teachers who feel this way. And that's why we're bringing up the topic today. I myself have felt odd sometimes in using that. I see Grace says definitely stuck. Lately, it's felt like a total brain freeze. Grace, you are not alone. I hear this from teachers all the time. So let's go through a couple of things that will help us reframe how we use social media. Before we get into the three things that I'm going to invite you to release this week, I just want to do a quick discussion around why is it that social media feels hard? I think part of this kind of stems from where social media was born, right? Like what was social media for in the beginning and, how has it changed over the years? And I think one of the things that comes to my mind, and I would love to know your thoughts on this as well. One of the things that strikes me is that social media was born. We look at like when the Book of Face was born. It was like the last year I was in college, and it was a very strange little social app that was encouraging us to connect with other college students there, kind of like what they used to call the baby book at our college, which is weird and problematic, where you could see the faces of everybody that had joined in that freshman class. And so it was kind of born out of that. It was a way to connect with friends, and eventually it started expanding. And then you would, connect with some of your family, connect with people you used to know in high school, and that kind of thing. And so really what it was at first was just about connecting with friends and family. And then things started to shift. And it used to be, more about just with the friends and family. And then businesses were invited to start their own pages on there because there was this great opportunity to connect with people in a way that we hadn't before, and to be able to get our businesses out there and known by other people at, in a local area or in the online space. And those two things are quite different. And, what you might post on a personal page is going to be different than what you post on a business page. And because we're so accustomed to using, and we were kind of raised in using social media for personal things, then when we go over to use social media for our business, there's this personal aspect that's tied to it, which can make us feel awkward. If that makes sense to you, let me know. I see, yes, there we go. Julie says, sometimes I feel like my posts have to look like others and that I must follow all the latest trends. I think that is 100% true. Carol's got the angst face, right? I love that, Pete. He says, I often just rebel and post things I like. Oh, y'all are getting, y'all know, right? Y'all know. Pete and Julie, you've been around long enough. You know what I'm going to be saying here today. Hey there, Lynn's Crichton Music over on Instagram. Nice to see you. All right, so if that makes sense to you, let me know. I'd also love to know your thoughts around what is it that makes you feel like social media is hard to run for a business. I'm going to outline 3 things that I today, and I'm going to invite us to reframe these things that we are hearing from all kinds of experts. Okay, so the first thing is this: keeping up with trends. This little guy moved over. You should be here. Let's move you there. All right, so let's talk about the idea of keeping up with trends. This is something that can feel like a lot of pressure, especially since nowadays social media changes very, very quickly. It used to, I felt like for a really long time, we kind of just did what we did and everything kind of worked. And then as the social media market got more saturated with different types of platforms and they started to kind of compete against one another, the platforms are chasing after one another, trying to be the biggest and the best and the one that everybody wants to go to. So a result of that is that things are changing very quickly. And let's be honest, everybody wants to be like TikTok right now. So if you have felt the pressure to keep up with trends, here's what I would like to invite you to release. And this is going to sound crazy coming from someone who, talks a lot about social media marketing. You do not have to do Reels or Facebook Lives. You don't have to do those things. You do not have to keep up with trends. You do not have to use the latest sizing of things. It doesn't have to be this picture perfect grid on Instagram. Sorry, Instagram. You don't have to be following the latest and greatest. And here's why. Because if that is what prevents us from using this as an effective marketing tool, then get rid of it. If it doesn't bring you joy, you don't have to do it. And I should say, and I kind of missed this part of my discussion, I skipped over this part of the outline, and I do want to say it now. There is no rule out there that says that you absolutely have to use social media for your studio. If using social media makes you feel anxious, uncomfortable, brings lots of unhappiness to your life, you can choose not to use it in your marketing plan. That's okay. There are plenty of other ways, other marketing platforms and channels and opportunities out there for you to attract people to your business. That said, if you do choose to use social media and you're feeling pressured about keeping up with the trends, I invite you to release that. If doing Reels and Facebook Lives is not your thing, you don't have to do those. If you would rather write long posts or write little tiny tweets, or if you enjoy taking pictures, do those things. The main goal is to release this pressure that you have to keep up with things and constantly be changing. And the goal here is to find the style of content that makes you happy. If you love playing around on Canva and creating, beautiful montages and collages of your students, then do that. If that brings you joy, do that. If you love to write and express yourself through written word, then do that. It is okay to choose to do the type of content that makes you happy, because when we create content that makes us feel good and that we enjoy creating, it will be evident to other people, because it allows us to show up more authentically as ourselves and to engage with the platform in a way that feels good to you. If we are forcing ourselves to do things that feel awkward and hard, that will come across. all that said, if you do like keeping up with trends and kind of you're a problem solver and you like challenges and figuring out the newest and latest and greatest tech, like that's awesome. Great. You do you, right? There's no I just want to say that there is no specific rule that tells you that you have to keep up with those trends. And if this is what has been holding you back from using social media as a tool for your marketing, then let's release that. So if there's anyone here who would like to release the trends, let's hear it. I see that Pete said, trends, #don't care. Yeah, I love it. And see, Julie does these beautiful posts where she loves to work in Canva. She's really great at it. And I think you use something else too, Julie. If you can let us know what that tool is that you use that makes like really cool videos. I can't remember what it is. You've told me before. You said it was very easy to do, and it works really well for you. So what she's been doing is posting pictures from studio lessons and recitals. That's how she has grown her studio, and that works really well. And we're going to be touching on that. Why is that so effective? Why is that form of marketing so effective? We're going to break that down today too. Carol says, I have already let go of doing reels. I feel you, Carol. I do them when I'm feeling it. And I'm not going to pressure myself to constantly create content. I love doing Facebook Lives. I love having these conversations with y'all, and I've been doing them for about 6 years, 7 years, something like that. It's my happy place. I really enjoy doing this. So this is something that I'll continue. Okay, Julie says it's called the Ripple app. Thank you, Julie. So if you're somebody that likes to play with graphics and create cool things that way, check that out. All right, let's get to the second point. So if keeping up with trends makes you feel like, release it. Here's the second thing that we can release. Being consistent for the algorithm. We hear about this mythical creature. I feel like it's a unicorn or something like that. This mythical creature called the algorithm that we don't quite understand because they actually won't tell us what the algorithm wants, right? But we hear things from experts like, in order for you to, get the most out of your social media, that you need to be depending on the platform, you need to be posting multiple times a day. You need to be creating specific types of content. You need to be using specific types of hashtags. And yes, those things can be helpful. However, if that pressure of, this idea that you have to create tons and tons of content, if that makes you just throw your hands up in the air and then not engage at all with it, then that's not helpful, right? There's a lot of pressure out there to create loads of content. And I kind of like to think of this as the content monsters, like all of these things that we're talking about today, these content monsters that we have. And they can put a lot of pressure on us and maybe, basically just prevent us from using the platforms at all. And I've seen that with a lot of clients who've come to me and said, I used to do it, but honestly, it just feels overwhelming to me. And, I'm tired and I don't want to keep up with it. And so I just want to say right now, you do not have to chase after the algorithm. So if you're tired of that, I want to let you know something super important. Your social media will not crash and burn if you take a break. It will not crash and burn. One of the reasons that I do feel passionate about, helping teachers use social media as part, not the whole, part of their marketing plan is that there are many people who will intentionally look us up on social media to find out more of what we're about. So, I want you to think about what does your business need? Are you in an active building mode? And are you willing to use social media? If that is the case, then yeah, we probably want to think about some type of scheduling consistency and making it something that's doable for you. If you are, really happy, you've got a long wait list and you're not actively seeking out new clients, your social media might play a different role in your marketing plan. It might be more about, posting things so that parents can see stuff. It might be more about maybe just every once in a while throwing something up there so that, people understand that you are active. Or it could just serve kind of as an archive. I think about the Instagram grid. One of the things I really like about that platform is that, it doesn't show timestamps on everything all the time. I mean, it does have the time when people post, but when somebody goes to your grid and maybe you haven't been posting in a few months, but if you have nice content up there from before, you've got pictures of your recitals, you've got posts of what is going on in the studio and some behind the scenes information. It gives people enough of an idea of what you are about in order to be effective. So we don't have to, if you have a waiting list especially, be posting every day. That's not necessary. And I'd love to know, for those who are here, if you do have like a pretty full studio and you're not actively selling anything anymore, what would it feel like to release that pressure to post all the time? What might that allow you to do? What would you do with that extra time? It might be kind of fabulous, right? So, returning to this, when it comes to feeling like, if you've got the consistency monster sitting on your shoulder and telling you that you always have to be posting stuff, there are some things that we can do, right? One, we can trust that if we take a break, our social medias will not fall apart. They will not burn down to the ground. There are also other ways that you can start repurposing your content and, releasing the pressure that, oh, I feel like I have to always make something new. Because think about it this way. There are, one of the things that we talk about in the Speakeasy Cooperative is, the key messages that we have in our businesses. What are the key messages? What are the things that you say all the time to your clients? What are the things that, what are your core values? What are the things that your studio stands for? Those things tend not to change very much. And so if you have pieces of content that you've created in the past that really speak to those key messages and your core values, or if you have pictures from years ago that you can use as a throwback, you can totally do that. Repurpose your stuff. You don't always have to be reinventing the wheel. And I know I've said this multiple times on the podcast, but I will say it again. This is not a podcast. This is a live. Psst, I might have a podcast in the future. If you'd be excited about that, let me know. If you are, I lost my thought there. Oh, the secret is this. I repurpose content all the time. Yes, we do have a consistent schedule here at Savvy, and we've gotten very strategic about it. And I would say that my estimate is that of the 7 days that we post, 4 out of those 7 days are repurposed pieces. And then we bring in new pieces of content from the weekly broadcasts that are repurposed in different ways. That is a pretty active posting schedule, but it's also completely automated. So if you've ever felt like maybe I've seen that post from Sara before, you're probably right. Yes, I love it. You see, what Julie says here is the takeaway is to repurpose your content. Absolutely. And if you want to get strategic around how you can repurpose content, let's have a discussion about it. Okay, third idea here that we can release, right? And this is where I think the majority of people feel stuck, that the content that you are creating for your page feels like you have to be salesy. And we get stuck in this idea that our social media content needs to advertise stuff. And if you are constantly in that stage of advertising, that's going to feel yucky, not only for you, but also for the people that are viewing your content. So here's the reframe that we can do here. And this is my favorite reframe. Okay. If your discomfort from engaging with social media, stems from this concept that we have to sell something because it's a business page, I want you to repeat after me. This is going to feel a little weird. Here's the phrase I want you to remember. You can Stop marketing to new clients. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Stop marketing to new clients. When we do that, there's this complete and total shift that happens. So if we are feeling like all of the pieces of content that we put out there have to be like selling something, telling people that we have space, blah, 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 yada, 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 right? If we release that and start thinking about, oh, wait a second, what is the role of social media, right? It's about connecting. It is about talking about what we do. It is about sharing stories. And when we do that, everything's different. Then the content that you're putting out makes a big shift. It goes from, hey, we have openings on Tuesday nights. Here are the openings that we have. I got to say, those are very effective posts if they are done like not all the time, right? It goes from being that type of content into, something happened in the studio today and it was kind of funny. Here's a story that's like less than 200 words. It can shift into, telling people why you are so busy as a musician during December. It can be, that snapshot of behind the scenes as you are tuning your instrument to play for the 17th gig that you've had this month. And it could be like hashtag gig life, hashtag teacher life, right? Super easy. Releasing the idea that posts need to be constantly selling something is a very freeing thing. And it invites us to start thinking about marketing in a different way. So if we stop marketing to new clients and start marketing to our current clients and celebrating what's going on in our studios, that can feel a lot better. And I realize that as I say this, there will be some of you who are listening and you are thinking, but that still feels icky to me. It feels like I'm using words that I've heard from clients in the past. It feels like I am using my current clients in order to get new clients. There's some mindset work to unpack there for sure. And we won't unpack all of it today, but I want to maybe say just a few things about this. If that is what is stopping you from using social media for your marketing, there's some things to think about here. Sharing stories about what happens in our studio, celebrating the big and the small things that our clients feel and experience. I understand why that can feel awkward if you have not done it in the past. And there are some things to think about around social media releases and getting permission and things like that. That can be part of the step. And another part of the step is to realize that you are a very amazing teacher. And I know I say it at the end of every broadcast that I do here, but you are bringing so much to the lives of your clients. You are not just teaching them how to read notes. You are not just teaching them how to play a song. You are not just teaching them how to access head voice and chest voice. What we do is really valuable on a completely different level than just skills, reading skills or singing skills or playing skills. What we provide is so much larger than that. And I think it's time to embrace what you are doing and the difference that you are making in the lives of the people that are there in your studios. And when we can sit with that and think about that and really connect with how piano lessons improved the life of the student that you've worked with for 10 years, it totally shifts. And if that feels uncomfortable or if that feels hard, which it might, I would invite you to sit down and do some journaling around how the lessons that you went through as a student impacted your life. I can't imagine high school without the choir room. Can't imagine it. Just wouldn't have been, what it wouldn't have been high school. Um, I can't imagine not having had piano lessons as a young person and all of the skills that I non-musical skills that I gained from the many teachers that I had because I moved around a lot. um, it is a really powerful thing. And so if the idea of using your social media and posting about what you do makes you feel uncomfortable, there are some things to unpack there. And again, I'm going to circle back to the fact that if it makes you uncomfortable and depressed and anxious, you don't have to use social media. But if there are some, small knots in your stomach that you're willing to work through, this idea of celebrating what happens in our studios as part of our marketing plan is way bigger than just using social media. It is going to change the way you network. It is going to change the way you talk to people about what you do. It is going to change the way you create ads in programs, etc. And so if that's something that you want to work with and you feel like you need some one-on-one help with that, that is a large part of what I do. All right. We're going to go through our recap here. I'm going to bring up some things on the page. Yes, I have a few friends I wish would release the salesy. I feel you on that. And you are pretty dang awesome, Pete. Thank you, Anna. And yes, hashtag not crying. I got a little lump in my throat, but I swallowed it. And thank you, Julie. These are my new favorite things. And they're just so sparkly. They make me feel very happy. And yes, I have been reframed. Thank you, Pete. All right. Give us your hashtag takeaways from today. I'm excited to come back and have this conversation with you. I do want to mention, if social media is something that makes you feel awkward and you do need help with it, I have spent the last 2 years creating a course. It's been going live for 2 years. I'm really passionate about it. We're going to be doing some revamps in the coming year. I'm very excited about what we're going to bring to it. And I'm really, there's going to be a total overhaul. And because I'm really thinking about how do we engage with social media and, what are we bringing to the table and how can we help other teachers become more comfortable and confident marketers using social media and other platforms. So if that's something that you would like help with, I do want to mention, let me see if I can actually point to it. It's reversed on my screen, just so you know. So this is like mad skills right now. I do have a social media course. It is on sale right now. If you would like information about that, if you drop the word social down below, the Savvy Sara bot will reach out to you. It's going to be on sale until December 17th. I might actually push that date out a little bit more because I haven't really been talking about the sale. If it's something that you're interested in checking out, it's a great resource. It comes with a personalized audit of your socials so you can get an idea of what's working and what you can improve on, and lots of step-by-step videos. Okay, there we go. That's my spiel about that. Oh, yay. Thank you, Sally. I'm glad that that's valuable to you. Yes, mindset is so important. All right, let's do our recap today. Let's start at the top. Here we go. If you have ever felt like social media feels icky or hard, I feel you, friend. Social media feels a little bit salesy sometimes, and there are some things that we can do in order to reframe the role that social media plays inside of our studio so that we don't feel like we have to constantly be chasing after these goals and these things that experts are telling us, and we can release those content monsters and actually use social media in a joyful way. So here are 3 things that I would encourage you to release if social media ever makes you feel uncomfortable, and here's what they are. All right, so the first content monster that we can release is this: keeping up with trends. You don't have to keep up with trends. You don't have to do Reels or Facebook Lives if they make you feel uncomfortable. If you are more happy writing long text-based posts, or if you are happy taking pictures or short videos, then do that. I know that all the places are telling you that video is queen, but if it makes you unhappy, release it. Figure out what kind of content makes you happy and stick with that, because then you can show up more authentically in your social media marketing. The second thing that we can release is the algorithm's not going to like me. Being consistent for the algorithm. So if you are trying to keep up with the mythical creature that is called the algorithm, I want to let you in on a little secret. Your social media will not crash and burn if you decide to take a break. And so what my encouragement to you here is to think about, what role does this platform take place in my current marketing plan. If you are actively trying to get students, then yes, maybe consistency is better. If you have a wait list and you are like, I am full, don't need to do that, then maybe you can release some of that consistency and stop chasing after the mythical algorithm monster. The next thing, number 3, if posts feel salesy to you, if discomfort around using social media comes from feeling like you constantly have to market things and you have to sell things, I want you to repeat after me. Stop marketing to new clients. I know that feels weird, but using social media doesn't have to be about marketing. It can be about celebrating what is happening inside of your studio. It can be about sharing stories that make you happy, sharing your favorite song of the week. Those are the types of things that are really going to let people know what it's like to be inside of your studio. And that's going to be way more fun to create than, oh man, I've got to create this 10th post that's about the workshop that's coming up. You can release that and maybe shift the marketing so that you are focusing on your current clients. All right, y'all, that is it for today. That's our recap. And if you would like to hear the full broadcast, if you're just catching the recap here, if you drop the word social down below, we'll get that for you. And we will also send you information about the social media course. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you. And we will see you next time. We'll see you in a couple of weeks here. And until then, stay savvy and stay you, because you are an amazing teacher. And there is no one in the world quite like you. And I think that you are pretty dang awesome. Thanks for being here. Have an awesome week. Bye, everybody.